Hi, this is part two of Is This Genome Graffiti? In part one, I played a clip from this hour and 16-minute video that my sister said kind of boring. And it was about genome graffiti. Anyway, and so, you know, the reason for the shutdown over the last year now, it's a year, yeah, I guess it is a year, is this class of viruses, and they are, this is an important thing, RNA viruses, including, this one that the shutdown was over. Um, so, anyway, so I watched the video, and the doctor's name was introduced early. I had to go look it up, and then Google, Google him, or I guess I used DuckDuckGo. Anyway, I found his website, and I found his blog post where he talks about this study. Right? This blog post is January 24th, so about a month and a half ago. And he talks about the study, and it's not been peer reviewed. He mentions that a bunch of times. So people it's the first thing, and other people have to replicate it to prove this. But and then this is what he says in the video, basically that the virus itself, not the vaccine, but the virus itself, which is RNA, viral RNA, made its way into the genome, into DNA, into the DNA of the human cells. This is, in a what do you call it, test tube, whatever. Like it's not actually done in living creatures or people, but it was human cells in a, petri dish, whatever. So this is the question he asked. So the movement of the RNA from the virus to the human, maybe, what does that mean for, basically, look, if you get the virus, whatever, there's a chance, according to this study, if this study is proved and peer reviewed, and then people can replicate the study, this is kind of showing that if you got this virus and you shook it off, it might have gotten into your DNA. And so then he asked the question, what does that mean for, the mRNA vaccine, which encodes a stabilized spike protein? And here's the study, basically saying, it gets reverse transcribed. That's how HIV works. It gets reverse transcribed into our nucleus, which I was reading today, and apparently this virus uses the same pathway to get into into our DNA. And who are these people? They're at the biggest schools, MIT and Harvard. So these are big time people. Basically, so we describe evidence that, this is what they found. Evidence that, the RNA of this virus can be reverse transcribed in human cells by reverse transcriptase, elements, or by HIV, reverse transcriptase. Basically, if HIV was in the cell, this is what the study's saying, it would punch a hole anyway, like in a nucleus. You can read it on Wikipedia. It just, drills a hole in the nucleus and off it, of a cell, and then invades, copies itself into the DNA. And so if this virus, that is floating around that caused the shutdown is in the same cell where, HIV's punched a hole, well, yeah, I guess it can just follow in. But the most interesting thing this study found was that even if you didn't have HIV in the cell, it still got into the nucleus. And, the idea of the authors is some ancient thing in our DNA. But anyway, interesting stuff.